Hello and happy Friday. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining in. I'll wait a little bit for some of you to jump in, but I don't like to wait too long just because many of you watch the replays, so I don't like to just have silence while you're watching a replay, but it gives me time to load my iPad and make sure that I can see your comments and everything and see who's joining, like Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Thanks for joining in. And how's your spa day going? So, okay. Hi, Eve. How are you? So today I wanted to bring something fall, and I hope I'm not doing too much fall overload, but it's my favorite season, and if I bring you different colors and different combinations, hopefully then you guys can pick and choose too some card ideas or even color combinations that you like too, and that might help just make it not seem so all the same. Hi June, hi Sharon. I'm glad you're having a great day, Lisa. Hi Julie. So today's card, I was inspired. I always like to share how I'm inspired by my projects. Sometimes it's other demonstrators, sometimes it's Pinterest, or different Facebook groups that I'm a part of and such. But today I saw this as a packaging. So there was this cute metal tin, and it had some white wrapped around it with a splash of like the packaging title, I guess you would call it, done in black. And so then this like pop of orange for fall, kind of a muted orange or whatever, but I'm like, you know what? So I snap a picture of it and like, how can I make that into a card? So that is today's inspiration for the card. So just kind of wanted to show you. So obviously it was a small tin, it was a cute tin. And so sometimes to try and recreate colors and textures when things aren't the same size, and the basic gray was like the closest I could get to kind of that metal. I was thinking maybe our gray granite might work for that, but when I was putting the color combinations, it's surprising when we have gray granite, smoky slate, and basic gray all kind of close together, how different, and even Sahara sand, how different all of those can look when paired with different colors. So I'm glad that Stampin' Up! Gives us so many color options that might seem similar, but there's always a reason. And I always say that with Stampin' Up! Things, that no matter what they do, there's always a purpose and meaning behind it. And sometimes it takes us a while to appreciate that, but that's how they do things. So today is also card number 8. So I want to tell you about that if you're new to joining in. So I'm doing my September virtual stamp camp. Say that fast, like even twice as hard. And so every day I'm bringing you a different card number. So today's card number 8, and then Monday and Tuesday will be card number 9 and 10. And Carol, you're joining in. Thanks. I'm doing a fall card, so I know you'll be happy to hear that because you love fall like I love fall. So then for virtual, I'm just doing it here. I miss seeing everybody, but this way we stay safe. And I've been in contact with numerous people and my customers, I should say, my stamping friends. Customers seem like you're far away. Friends makes it sound like we're more together. And so I think this is the best thing. Like as many times as I think, well, you know, if this opens up or that opens up, some of the places aren't even open that I would go to do my classes just because of the high risk people that normally come in there on days that I'm not there or days that I am there. So I have to kind of gauge that. And then when we are together, everybody touches my cardstock. Everybody touches my ink pads, dimensionals, accessories, everything. And so we have to realize, you know, there's a lot of germ spreading that potentially could happen. So I just want to explain that too. And I did see a cute post that somebody had. I've never seen this one today. And it went something like, my whole family got sprayed by a skunk. Yeah, I think we can smell it. And so that's kind of how COVID might be like. If you know, if it spreads, you all kind of, you know, are in the same boat. So anyway, enough with that. It's Friday, time to get on with my card. Okay, so let me get my camera switched around here. And we are making the most of it by doing these virtual classes. So, and you guys are keeping me on my toes by always coming up with ideas. And so every time I see different inspiration for Christmas, I'm always like backtracking, like not today, not yet, but know that I will be sneaking Christmas things in because a lot of you like to get a head start. But today we are on fall. And so like I said, this was inspired by some packaging that I saw around a cute tin. So the gray is for the tin color and the black is just to make it pop on the white. And then I've put some texture in with this embossing folder and more texture in with this embossing folder. But then as I was putting it together and playing around with maybe doing my card base in a lighter smoky slate color versus the basic gray, but I really liked how the basic gray popped with the black. I thought, man, if you took off the leaf, you could make like this be a great guy card too, because that black and basic gray together is really sharp. So like I'm already, you know, thinking the next card, I mean, not for Stamp Camp, but if I need a guy card, how that might play out sometime in the near future. Okay, so the products that I'm using today, Gather Together is the stamp set that I'm pulling this from. I love the different sentiments that fit in so well with fall. So I'm using the leaf here. I didn't use a splatter, even though that is one of my favorite stamp sets that are stamps in the set that I like to use. I'm kind of torn between like Season of Thanks and Wishing You Well, but I love how the Wishing You Well doesn't, I can make that into like a narrow banner. It doesn't cover up a lot of the texture of that embossing folder and such too. So that's why I went with that. And then Gather Together, the exciting thing that I love about this bundle is as I was getting ready, I always take notes. And so I put on there, yeah, I did hurt my wrist, Lisa. So here I am. I've got my wristband on, went to occupational therapy, and not sure what is causing some extreme pain some days in my wrist, but it could be running my Big Shot a lot. I have a huge garden, so thank you for being concerned, Lisa. I am making headway. So far, no surgery yet, but yes. So yeah, when you see me, don't be alarmed. My grandson thinks it's a big Band-Aid. So I was hoping that I could kind of keep that off the camera, but when I work with my hands, you will see that. Okay, hi Donna, hi Tabitha. So back to the Gather Together bundle. What I'm excited about is that this bundle was really popular last year. And so Stampin' Up! Was potentially going to retire it. They brought it back. But not only did they bring back the stamp set and dies, they brought back the 10% bundle savings, which I love because I've told people often if you want something, get it while it's in its initial catalog because after it goes forward, then the 10% savings is no longer. You might be able to get the stamp set or the dies, but often the two, then you'd have to purchase separately and then you don't get the 10% savings. But this one you do. And I think many of you grabbed it up last time. So I always enjoy also bringing you more samples of things that you can use than with something that you already have. So that's from the holiday catalog. And then I just want to highlight, because somebody actually asked this after my video yesterday, I'm going to use a few or a couple different embossing folders from the annual catalog. And on page 184 today, I'm using one of the combo pack of the greenery. Yesterday I used the little details, so they're right by each other, and you can see the twin pack because they're narrow, and you'll see it more when I use them in my video. But it brought up a point with her questions, and always know I love when you guys ask questions. It does not like pester me or anything at all. So her question, you know, when she asked like, where is that, or what embossing folder is that? I answered her, but when I'm done, I do have my little cheat sheet or my list of products used today, and I put that together for every card. So when I'm done with my video, I take my picture of my card, I upload it, put that list together with this on Facebook so that you guys all have that as your resource. So if you're ever wondering, yeah, what was that, that embossing folder that she used, that list will be right with the picture. And then also I'm able to link, you might see the link that I've been posting. If you click on that link, it will take you right to my store and have a picture and a price and everything, all the information on those products too, not just the name. So that might be kind of helpful for you too. Okay, let's make a card. So I have to think of how I started. I think I started with my leaf. And so this color is a fun color. It's kind of one of those chameleon colors. Depending on what it's paired with, it can change up how it looks. And it is the Mango Melody. And kind of interesting. So I didn't want a really dark look to be stamped on it. So I initially got out my leaf from Gather Together here. Isn't that a cute hot pink stain on there? That happens. And so I thought, well, let's go with like soft suede because it's not going to be really dark and it's just going to add a kind of fall look to it. So as I stamped that out in my soft suede and onto my Mango Melody here, I kind of went, oh my goodness. And if you're following along, it's not your camera. This is soft suede, but it turned out really dark and really black. And I have not re-inked my pad for a while and I've been using it and it looks like soft suede on everything else. So I think it is kind of the coloring of my Mango Melody cardstock, but yeah, it looks almost like early espresso or basic black kind of. So I was kind of surprised by that. But as I started to put the card together, I liked it, so I left it. So that we will be ready to cut out in just a bit. Actually, yeah, we can cut that out now. I was trying to think. Sometimes when I bring over my Big Shot for the camera, I kind of don't like to go back and forth because then I think it's just a lot of jiggle and mess for you guys to watch. So I'm going to take and put my cutting pad here, and this is my magnetic platform, and these are the dies. So I'm going to use my leaf die here from the Gathered Leaves dies set that coordinates with that stamp set, and I love that it's just going to take and stick that right to the platform. It's kind of more of a shim. We're used to our big bulky layers, platforms that was magnetic before, and this one is not. So nice, it's like the size of a cutting pad. So I'm just going to wheel that through. Okay, so we have this, and then I'm going to do some embossing, a couple different things. So let me just switch out and take this. And then I'm going to get out my my pads here. So the first one that I want to emboss, let's see. Yes, Lisa, great question. Lisa's question is, do you think the new machine cuts easier than the older Big Shot? And at first I thought, you know, is it because it's new? It's kind of like driving an older vehicle versus a new, and especially mine. Mine has a lot of mileage. My Big Shot has a lot of mileage. But I do feel like it's just smoother. And then having, I always call these areas here, let me just adjust the camera just a sec. These areas here, I call them my fenders, and you can see that they're a lot wider. Like the old Big Shot just had this kind of handle section, but I call these my fenders. So not only do they nicely store there, the cutting platform like that, but I feel like just putting things through that they just fit in there, and that just helps keep these platforms going through straight. So I feel like it cuts better. I'm even noticing when embossing things, like sometimes I kind of go, okay, when it comes out the other side, is it really embossed? Because you hardly even feel resistance with the embossing folders. So great question. Thanks, Lisa. So with embossing folders, this is the one I'm using today, Greenery. This one is a 2-pack. So the skinny folder is in here as well as the one that I'm going to use that looks like this. So once again, the width is 3 1/4. I used one this size yesterday in my fun little fun fold card. So same size that way. And I'm just going to put this kind of in the middle. So I'm not going to get on either side like that, but I want it to be pretty much centered in there like that. And this one is just a regular embossing folder. So it kind of just follows Oops, I think I have a shim in where I shouldn't. Okay, let me see, 1 and 3. That's why I love this, especially because this machine's still newer. It felt a little tight, just as I was saying how nice and easy it went through. I knew something wasn't right away. So that's helpful too. And this is a regular embossing folder, not 3D or anything. So that's helpful that way. So hopefully the camera picks that up really nice. So you can see, can be top and bottom or side to side on there. So really fun. Sometimes I underestimate embossing on white cardstock because you always think, oh, is white cardstock going to pick up anything? But I really think it makes things look sharp. The next layer of the card that I'm going to emboss with some basic gray is using the Tasteful Textile. And that one is a 3D embossing folder. Hi, Marie. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so this one I'm going to feed in here. Love the texture in this one. And so this one being it's 3D, I just need platform number 1 and then that specialty plate. The specialty plate, keep in mind, comes with the machine. So no extra purchase there. And that's plate number 4 and that's numbered. So it just cranks right through here. Sometimes the only thing I have problems with is I have this piece of paper here to cover my dining room table and keeps like the stamp camp information on there, whatever. But otherwise really nice rubber feet. So when I'm back in my craft area and doing a lot of cutting, then it just sticks really well to my desk back there. So this one, let me peel that kind of out of there. So this is a great, just a plain texture look here. Camera might not pick that up really well, but you could see it from the packaging, how it does look. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so next I think I'm going to do just a little bit of assembling. I think I'm ready for that, some of it anyway. And so, oh, how fun, Marie. Yeah, sometimes my husband gets annoyed when he's driving away and I get so engrossed on something that I find on my phone through Google or just different things or Facebook or whatever. So, but sometimes it's a great time killer too. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my bone folder. So hopefully I'm your time killer today, Marie. Nice crease there, and then I'm just going to tack down this texture, and I usually feel like this one, there's one side that has a little bit more texture than the other, and so I kind of try and find that. Not that there's any right or wrong, but I feel like if I went through the work of embossing, I want it to show. And then this I can just put right on my card base as well too. And then I like to give you guys measurements, and so I'm hoping I can remember. Of course, my card base is the standard 5.5 by 4 1/4, and then let's see, this gray, basic gray in the middle here is 4.75 by 3.5, and I'm thinking then that the black is 3.75 by 5. So hopefully I'm accurate with that. Pretty sure that I am. Okay, and then I'm going to do something interesting with this. So I just want like a piece of it, and so what I do is I want half of this, and when I lined it up in my trimmer, it worked out so slick. So I just put in a new blade. I must not have snapped it in there very well. Don't want to grab it too tight because then it'll cut me. Okay, so what I like to do, there we go, now it's snapped in, is put this in there. I don't even measure because I want it to be half, and so that way if I didn't have it in the folder the way I wanted to, then it might not be the wisest thing to measure it. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Hi, Betty. So I'm just going where the top of these little berries are and the top of those, and just kind of finding that sweet spot in between. And I'm going to give it a cut. So one might be a little bit taller than the other, but these actually turned out exactly in half. So that's how that is. And so you have the exact same thing. So if you're rolling it through and want to make 2 cards at once, this is a great embossing folder for that type of thing as well. Okay, So I'm going to move my trimmer over there, and then I can take and put this on there next too. And there's a definite front side to this, after I just talked about how sometimes it's hard to know if something is a front or a back, but this definitely has a good front, so it's easy to see. That's going to kind of be next, but I want to emboss this wishing you well first. And so here's my, I always look around, like whenever I have my Whisper White ink pad out, I always think it's black because of the labeling. So I look around like, where did I put that? But it's white. And then the stamp here that says wishing you well. Whoops, I'm gonna grab my mat, since this is a photopolymer stamp set. I want to make sure that I'm getting a good inking up of that. I'm just gonna kind of put that, first of all, it's upside down. I want to just kind of center it just so I know I have enough space on either side, because I can always adjust that by trimming it with my scissor. And then I'm just going to take my white embossing powder here, and I pour literally a generous amount on every single time, because I have this nice little container to dip it into, or I should say just to shake it off into. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these, that's why their logo's on there, and then you can just take and pour that back in, but they stopped selling it. Don't know if it's a supplier issue, but we all miss those. They had a small one, which just says, and a large. So I often sandbox that and say, hey, can you bring that back? So that's what I'm using, so don't think you're missing anything. They're just not available anymore. So Carol says, well, let me emboss this first now that I have my heat gun going, because I don't know if you'll hear me. Okay, so I'm just going to heat set this. There we go. I don't know if you can tell which part is turning or not. So it's getting hot on my fingers, so I'm gonna rotate that around. And there, that looks good. Okay, Carol's question, didn't know we have a white ink pad. Wow, only the powder for embossing. So yeah, you could, that brings up two things. So there is, the white ink pad is not shown in the collection with all of the other ink pads. It is on a different page, as well as our black, just our basic black Memento pad. So I'm gonna see here if I can find it quick, because I feel like there's so many things on that page. Here we go. That there's a lot of things that you can buy on these two pages. So number 20 here on page 147, because I feel like that might be something everybody might want to know. So the craft Stampin' Pad and refills. So you get your Whisper White ink pad. It comes uninked, and that's just because sometimes the white seems to lose its ink a little faster. So Stampin' Up! Doesn't want to send you a dry ink pad that's kind of crusty, unless, you know, if it's sitting there for a while or whatever. So you get both of those together, the refill and the ink pad, and then you can always go and purchase a separate refill later too if you need that. So that's on page 147. Otherwise, if you want to just use your regular Versamark pad that we all have used for a lot of our embossing, you could do that as well, and that works just fine. So I feel like I just want to snip this down just a little bit. And then, of course, I've been using this a ton. So I'm going to pull this out. This is that Banners Pick a Punch from the holiday catalog. Kind of goes with the Halloween, the all occasion fall stamp set as a bundle. And I'm going to use the top one. Lately I've been doing lots just with the regular banner look. And this is cut 3/4 wide. So it'll just go right into that slide, the middle one, because you can easily fit in 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1 inch in there. And ta-da, it gives such a nice finished look like that. I love it. I love the pop of the white embossing powder on that black too. It just makes it almost look elegant. kind of fun. So then I always feel like it's easier too to trim this after I cut it, because you want that piece to be kind of long so you can kind of keep your thumb on it as you feed it into that punch. Just a little thing that works for me. It's not a necessity, but that way it doesn't kind of shimmy in there. And then if you guys know me, and every stamp camp I have this as part of my lineup, you'll be like, why do you do that? This isn't something you even like. So here I go. So I'm going to twist some linen thread just around 3 of my fingers. So about 3 times here. And then I'm just going to snip that off. Whoops. And so it's kind of just that rope look. And then the reason why I joke about it not being my favorite thing is I always say it's kind of like my hair. It just never wants to cooperate. It just does, you know, its own thing, has a mind of its own. So then I just kind of tuck it onto a glue dot like so. And hopefully one does the trick, but if not, that's okay too. I'm just going to set it aside, and then I'm going to kind of just layer these things on. So first I'm going to attach my leaf before I get too far. And that I kind of want to poke up and over the top of my white piece here. So it has a little bit of that showing against my basic gray background. Okay, and then I want to also get some dimensionals on this tag too, just to give that a good height for that. And because it's a tag, I often just go like that and kind of release a nice chunk from my dimensionals bottom here, so then I don't have to get 3 of them separate. And I just kind of go like that from the edging. So nice long strip like that. But before I put it on, I kind of want to go, okay, that's where my leaf is going to go. This is kind of where I want my greeting to be. And I kind of want to tuck in the ends so that they're not sticking out. And sometimes I do want them to stick out, so that's not the worst thing either. So I'm just going to go like so. And so between the glue dot that I put on there, keeping the rope together, and then that also attaches itself to the card, having those dimensions to help stick on just that little bit of linen trim is also kind of nice. Hello, Pam. Okay, so here is the card. So like I said, I love how sharp the black and the basic gray look with just this color that makes it pop of that Mango Melody. So I often use the Mango Melody this time of year for pumpkins. I have the Mango Melody Stampin' Blends, and I do a lot of coloring with those with pumpkins and such. And the markers almost look kind of yellow. Sometimes in the catalog, when they the color, I feel like it gives it a more yellow tone than what it really is too. So kind of a simple card. I like how the texture really really will speak to the recipient when you see it. So just maybe when I photograph this card, it might not show up all those extra details, but I think that's what makes the card look really special in person. So like anything, I always am just struck by how different things can look in the catalog versus if you copy that card right in person, and how vibrant those colors become and everything else. Okay, so moving the camera, done, cards done. Okay, all right, so today's Friday, like I said. So I hope you've enjoyed a whole week of Stamp Camp projects. So I brought you 5 of them. Today was card number 8. So my last 2 cards I'll bring to you Monday and Tuesday. Those will be cards 9 and 10. And how you get my whole set of virtual Stamp Camps for September is say, hey, Belle, I want the cards. And many of you have said that. And so then I just add you to my list, and then you can pay me $22 and that gets you the cards. If you think, hey, I need some supplies, which some of you have done too, you place your order, use the host code that was here on my workstation, or when I post the code, I will have, or the code will be there too with the card, as well, like as I said, that whole list of all the accessories I used today, as well as even a link right to my store. So if there's things that you want to to shop for, then that'll get you right there, so you don't have to look anything up, which is kind of nice too. Hey, Maureen. And so so that's how that works. Always let me know if you have questions. I know a couple emails came in as I was prepping for my card, so I will get to those as soon as I get my video uploaded and the information on there. Then I'll get to you guys too. So know that I love seeing emails come in and questions, because you always have great questions that you guys ask too. And I love today, you guys were probably the most interactive that you have ever been during a Facebook Live, and that's what I love too. So that really makes it interesting, because a lot of times other people might have that same question. So I love that you ask great questions. So otherwise, we will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend.